Hey. What's up, my people? It's Charlie's Talk Sport Corner, and we're back again. And kama kawaida, we're generally talking about our country. Sometimes we talk about knowledge, the heres and theirs of the world. But today, because this is my world and this is my country, we're going to be talking about Kenya, especially, and I say especially, the finance bill 2023-2024 that's about to be put forward to us. Of course, there's the proposal committee, and so far most of the proposals are crazy. Why are they crazy? They're crazy because they seem to be trying to bring a totalitarian kind of society for us, because the government is literally coming after every single thing we have. And cut things short, today I was reading an article from Twitter by Mr. Guido, right? And he's sourcing Mr. Okiya Omtata. Now, Okiya Omtata is one of the people who are the few left who publicly stand and fight for our constitutional rights, the changes that have been trying to appear. And let's just say he does not mince his words when he speaks. And today he posted an article, and I just want us to go through it because it means so much. As in, he states how, as usual, Mr. Okiya has put forward the statement of the things that are going to happen. And let me just be on quote and say that some of the things that he wrote, and he says this is the real deal. When Okiya Omtata says, you go to the website of KE Treasury and see there's a breakdown there they have, right, of the charges, the net approved, the summary for development that they're trying to push forward. And you'll see the difference in numbers, like the jumps from numbers. For example, something like the Executive Office of the President, net approved will be 697 million. The gross estimate put down as 852 million. Office of the Deputy President from 400 million. That one has dropped. Gross estimate 300 million. You come to the State House. So the State House and the Executive Office of the President have been separated, right? Which we don't know why. The State House is given 1,300 million. The gross estimates are coming to 1,558. So there's a lot. So you go on the KE website, KE Treasury website. I'll go through a few things, right, and and you'll see this discrepancies, right? You'll see where the twos and twos don't connect. The questioning, where you have to question the current government on why the finance bill has so many discrepancies, right? I was looking at some of these budget items, and it's just sickening how the government of Kenya, or let's just say how they're trying to loot, because literally this is looting in a way, right? So why are the Office of the President, State House receive separate allocations? That's something I already told you guys. Yeah? They have separated the Office of the President and State House. Okay? The KE Treasury needs 60 billion for seminars and mandazi for the overpaid and underworked bureaucratic. Your guy that does not mince his words, right? Then he goes like, why is roads, transport and maritime getting different allocations? You know who's there? Mr. Murkomen himself. I'm sure he'll do I'm sure he'll pop up for a news conference to explain to us why some of these things are happening. Why is the State Department of Planning getting 61 billion? right? I mean, they're supposed to be, 61 billion should be funding an actual project, not a planning and developer, you know? Why would the housing be getting more money than education? That's the other part that got me. Like, why is our educational system being cut for funding? Like, that's the current reality of this government. Now, if you want to raise a society, you put more money in the educational system, okay? Because that's currently where our country is. We need to industrialize, right? So, if you build for me a house, right? Or you help me learn, get my education, right? Which one do you think will be better? Ni gani inasaidia more? And it's ridiculous that housing has been given more money than educational. Which one determines the priority, right? Why do we have to separate budgets for building for building places, you know? And yet our health system, I think right now the doctors and the nurses and the interns, I think they're still trying to get their 1.2 billion. And we're seeing a housing fund getting 61 billion. Let me read for you the breakdown of what the offices have given themselves. So the Executive Office of the President has gotten 852 million, okay? 852 million. Office of the Deputy President, that gets 300 million. State House gets 1,558,000,000. All right, that's where the question is: the State House and the Executive Office, shouldn't they be on the same path? And then you go to the State of Department of Correctional Services, that goes to 823 million. I have a question there, because this system is looking so American. In the American system, they normally put aside money for their correctional facilities. And remember, these correctional facilities are not built by local, okay? They're not built by the government, but rather they are built by private entrepreneurs. They're the ones who do this so that they can be able to fund to get money from the prison systems, okay? It's a way that people use to get money. Like, it's the way the top notch know how to get money from government, things that you will not be bothered with. And when you see something like the Department of Correctional Services being given, the prison systems basically, right? Always know that in a place like the United States, they have used the correctional services, the prisons, to actually, in a way, deal with the population, okay? So they will pass laws get passed, and then once they pass the laws, next thing you know, you don't even have ways in which to be able to, like the prison facilities now are used as places where they can get money, okay? The more population you have in prison, the more you'll see this correctional services, this funding will go up. Right now it's just at 823 million. By the next presidential term, guaranteed that's $1 billion plus, or even 2 billion, because now they'll say, you know, you can see the kind of laws they are passing right now. It would be so easy for someone to be arrested and put in a jail, even if it's for a nice 1 month, 2 month offenses. Now they don't do these things just for chance. You'll see the correlation, right? You'll see the correlation of prison facilities being upgraded, and suddenly laws that the normal mwananchi cannot be able to handle with. Read on that, you'll see. Those are things that are going to come through. And then we have the State of Department for Immigration and Citizen Services. That's been given about 4,861,000,000. Now, I don't know how this is going to affect us, but currently Kenya is really shipping out its labor and its I forget the word to use, but we're shipping out the labor for our youth, and also the young minds. We are really shipping out the labor. You see, we are trying to get people to Korea, we're trying to get people to the US, to the UK, shipping our nurses, shipping our labor, our practical. Most people who know how to do practical skills, we're really shipping them out. And we have had a problem for passports. These are the same people who are telling us that we are going to be paying for our national IDs per year. I think they're proposing something of the sort. And I don't understand why an ID has to be renewed. Because the only way you're telling me that is when a country becomes now a corporational state, where this is like an ID for a job. If you lose it, you get a high price to pay for it. You go like an ID. If you need to, why do I need to renew an ID, right? And then you tell me you have such a budget for these facilities, for things like passport, identifications, forms, certifications, all that. You tell me you've raised the budget, yet here you're telling me at the same time that if I lose my document, right, I can pay you more money. And you already have a budget that's supposed to cater for such things. It used to be like 100 bob to change an ID. Now it's about to be raised to a G plus. I mean, what's going on, man? Be very careful with this finance bill, because they're adding more things. But are they helping them on inch? The National Police Service is about to get 1,745,000,000. Personally, I'm kind of afraid of the laws being passed for the police, because I feel like we're getting to a place where they're trying to push a police state on us. It's very So it's very difficult to understand how a police officer can get into your vehicle, a private citizen's vehicle. Government does not help me pay for my vehicle. I've already paid its taxes and paying for insurance, right? So my vehicle has no issue, but currently a police officer can easily get into your vehicle and tell you, let's go to a police station. And we know how the Kenyan police are, right? Unless ni mkubwa, which they kind of fear, now they have the power to deal with you, a small guy. That's how even the Ian issue came through. The young man didn't do well finding a police officer, because that's never a good place to go to the physical nature of trying to fight someone. But the reason that escalated to that level is because he was found in a car and the police forces him to go into a police station. Why does a police officer have to force me? A police officer should be able to just write up a ticket, take it to the police, maybe IT place. They put that in the register and cite someone a ticket. Next time the car is seen, you can be billed for that ticket. Why does a police officer have to get into my vehicle? Remember, these laws and this finance bill, they're gonna go together a lot. We have State of Department for Internal Security and National Administration, that's gotten 7,155,000,000, Mike. State Department for Devolution, that has gotten 2 billion, which I think should be more. Devolution is what will work for our country. This thing of trying to push populace in cities, trying to get these urban places growing up. If you're squeezed in urban places, life looks as if it does not have enough. And then mkae huku kwa mashinani, you will see that life has grown. You will see that you can actually grow, okay? Next is the State Department of Assault and Regional Development. They have gotten 5,907,894,000. Ministry of Defense got 6 billion. State of Department of Foreign Affairs, 2 billion. State Department of Technical and Vocational Education and Training, 6 billion. Okay? I don't, why is education on such a, okay, State Department of Basic Education, 19 billion. Is education gonna be free? Let's see how that goes. The National Treasury, 61 billion. Okay. State Department of Economic Planning, 61 billion. State Department of Medical Services, 39 billion. So economic planning gets 61 billion. State Department of Medical Services gets 39 billion. I mean, shouldn't that be kind of the opposite? Our health facilities in Kenya and the medical services in Kenya, I think a lot of us have experienced, especially from after that COVID era, right? We have experienced what we call discrepancies, ama shida mingi sana in what we have as our medical services. I remember taking my aunt to places, Upper Tunema Hospital, I'm not even gonna go far. And I remember them, she was in that bad place where she needed oxygen, and the hospital could not attend to us because apparently we had to first pay for the oxygen before they put her on. And by the time they figured out, okay, we can pay for our medical, like we can pay for the oxygen, my auntie was already going down. Like now it was downhill. So even by the time they got her on the oxygen, she was going. And I remember I nearly fought with the people for hospital because I didn't understand how you medical practitioners, and you cannot be able to sort out. And I'm here thinking, is that a problem by our own medical facilities, or is it just something that is in our whole country, that if you go somewhere without paying for it, you cannot get your service? You know, like you cannot just be put in, as long as someone will know, you know, they got a card or someone can pay, they'll put you in the machines or something, or a service will be done for you by the time they figure it out, the financial part. Like, will this medical service money be able to do that for us? Is it enough at 39 billion? Yet the State Department for Economic Planning gets 61 billion. Do we need to plan how people are staying more than we need to deal with the public health? State of Public Health and Professional Standards, that gets 5 billion. I mean, that's even less than, still, even if you add the public health money, 5 billion, plus the State Department of Medical Services, both, that comes to about what, 44 billion. State planning is still higher. State Department of, it's State Department of Roads has gotten 112 billion. Man, we're gonna have to get a lot of explanations for these things. State Department of Transport gets 44 billion. What? State Department of Shipping and Maritime gets 1 billion. State Department of Housing and Urban Development gets 86 billion. Whoa. I mean, what are they planning to do to our country? They're planning on doing some change. Yo, let's listen to Tata here, man.
Across the world, President Ruto was in South Korea the other day. I think he's still there. Let him ask himself how many presidents have been, ex-former presidents of South Korea have gone to jail. As he wants to...
Okiom Tata. Yo, Okiom Tata is the guy. This guy doesn't joke, he doesn't care about this money things, you know, like we're not supposed to talk about people yet. If you're robbing our country, if a regime is robbing our country, I think this is the time to speak on it, because if we do not speak on it, our children...
Discussing this bill, I would like everybody to go to the website of the National Treasury at www.treasury.go.ke/budget -books -1 You will find 5 books there which contain the budget estimates of the current government that we are supposed to be discussing, but instead we are being taken the wrong way to discuss the Finance Act or the Finance Bill, which is premature. You cannot have a Finance Bill without a budget you want to finance.
Yes.
You must have the budget, then now come up with measures to finance that budget.
Yes.
But we are dealing with measures to finance what doesn't exist. But I want us to look at the budget estimates. The total number is about 4,500 pages. Right now I've read through all of them. And on my first reading, I've identified about 100 billion shillings that is being stolen. 100 billion. And in 2 items. One of them is the repayment of debt. There's about 40 billion shillings there that you cannot explain. Double repayments. When you come down, there's another thing. They call them other expenses. Now, other expenses of what? Our budgeting law, the law, not even a policy, the law requires that every item be identified what you're going to finance. So you cannot have other expenses. No, you must tell us this 10 shillings is going to buy this glass. So the question of other expenses is not equal to budget and corruption. So of that, in that component alone, other expenses of out of those 4,500 pages that are up there is 52 billion shillings. So together 40 billion plus 52 billion, you get 92 billion. That is being stolen, being placed here to be stolen. You see? And so you cannot be talking about there not being enough money that you want to buy tax everybody, whatever. What we need is fiscal discipline.
Yo, as I said again, man, Okiya Mtata does not joke when he's giving you facts about his estates, right? Like he's there and he's telling you the jump of money, right? The amount of money. Here's for example, right? State Department for Shipping and Maritime before had gotten 270 million. Right? That's net approved. Before, the gross estimate is 1,324,000,000. You know how much there has been added? That's crazy, man. State Department of Housing and Urban Development, net approved 14 billion, right? Gross estimate is 86 billion. I need someone to explain to me something. What is disappearing in between here? Like what is being charged that Department of Public Health and Professional Standards, 5 billion net approved, right? 5 billion gross estimate. You see, like, that ain't that big difference. Department of Medical Services, 32 billion net approved. Gross estimate, 39 billion, right? Department of Economic Planning, 59 billion, right? Gross estimate, 61. So in some things, the numbers are good. Then in some, boom, numbers drops. Some number rises. So I'm still trying to understand some of this mathematics because Department of Devolution before net approved is 56 million. That's 56 million. Gross estimate is 2,653,000,000. I mean, I need someone to explain to me what is going on in my country. But if right now you are not interested in learning about the scams and the discrepancies happening, I'm telling you we will suffer for this. Like this ain't no joke. Go check it out, man. Okiya Mtata on Twitter. That man always speaks some truth, you know. So this one today was a very simple way. All we're doing is making you aware, okay? I'm making you aware of the Finance Bill 2024, 2023, 2024 Kenyan. Because as we talk about the Finance Bill, we ain't talking about the budget. Okay? You first have to give me a budget. Okiya Mtata says first of all, you have to get a budget. Once you get your budget now you can get the Finance Bill, which is the way in which to finance these things. Yo, I'm not gonna say much. All I've been here to do today is put an awareness. Okay? I'm here to put an awareness on do this. Okay? If we do not do this, my people, it's gonna be a rough few next maybe like 20 years. Because remember, what you get from a foreigner, from the IMF, from who, if you are not diligent, if you do not make sure that the money you get does not get into projects that will give back, we will become a slave of other nations. Mr. President, do not make us a slave of other nations. We try to get into the first world avenue. We try to be the leaders of Africa. So Kenya, kaini rada hii finance bill, kaini rada, be aware of your financial status. This has been Charlie's Talk Sport Corner, and we're just talking a bit about the money and the future of our country. Take care. See you on the next one.